to help improve your head posture by getting what are called your deep neck flexors activated. So what you're going to do is you just lay flat on your back. I want you to try to relax everything and breathe through your diaphragm. And the first one with the chin tucks, you're keeping the back of your head on the table or the ground, and all you're doing is pushing the chin down as far as you can and then relaxing. So let's go ahead and do a few of those. We also call it like the double chin exercise, literally trying to force however many chins that you can. And so I might do about 5 of these, and then on the 5th one, hold for maybe a couple seconds, and then we relax. The progression of this is called a chin curl. So think of like a sit-up, but for your head. So what you're gonna do is tuck the chin all the way down. It's like a hook is coming out of the back of the head to lift up and then back down. You really got to do a good job of not jutting the chin out forward. So one of the cues I like to use for this is to take a quarter, or feel like you're pinching a quarter here, and you're going to lift your head up without letting that quarter drop. So these are chin tucks and chin curls, a good way to help with extend your head as you do it. We don't want your head like looking up like that. That'll actually pinch in the back of the neck, or we don't want you looking too far down. But nonetheless, feel this in the front. You might feel a stretch in the back. To progress it, we use a band. And if you don't have a band, you can, if you're laying on your back or against the wall or something, you can put pillows or a towel behind your head. So what we're doing is we're using the resistance of the band, and she's pulling her head back to activate the muscles a little bit more. And then what I'll do is hold there, and then we can work a little bit of rotation. So keep chin tucked, good, and then side to side. Your back's gonna go up against the wall. You're gonna keep it flat. One important thing is I want his shoulders completely relaxed. So don't have tension up here. Don't shrug them up towards your ears. And what you're gonna do is just kind of tuck your chin down without pulling the back of your head off the wall, okay? So it's this nodding motion. Good. And so you should feel some tightness, or like you're using muscles in the front of your neck. You'll also feel a little bit of stretching in the back, okay? Now, some preferred ways to do this is to kind of tuck down and maybe hold for a couple seconds and then go back. Or you can just do maybe 10 in a row and hold for a couple seconds. There's really no right way to do it. But at the end of the day, it's just trying to get us out of this position and more into this position.